So one of the things that I discovered when I was trying to put it together is that the holes in these pieces are too small for the rods here. So what I'm doing is taking a file and just filing off just a hair so it'll fit into the pieces smoothly. So I've done this one, and now I have to do the other one. File. All right. Try one more time. There we go. Mostly in. Couple of taps. There it is. And now it is in. I gotta do the other end. Ugh. There. Okay. Now, make sure it's straight. And then, I have to make sure I put this together correctly. Now I'm going to try to assemble this. I think first I need to clean up my mess a little bit. I went out and I found the drill, and I've got a teeny tiny little drill bit on here, just big enough to fit through the pre-formed holes that are in these little plastic pieces. So, but before I drill the holes, I need to assemble it a little bit so I know where exactly to drill the holes. The first thing I need to do is make sure that all these pieces are in the right position. So I've labeled them, I don't know if you can see this, I've labeled them RF, oops, this way, RF right front, and I want to have the little screws on the outside, so I need to face it out. This one I put out here, it is wrong. It also needs to be facing outward. Actually, these ones are the same, so I can just flip-flop those around. Okay, that way I don't have to take it off. I will need to drill little pilot holes in here before I add the screws. The screws, and I hope these are the right size, are 1/2 inch, number 6, and I got 50 of them. I'm hoping that I'll have enough. If not, I guess I could go buy another package. And then I need a Phillips screwdriver, manual screwdriver. All right, here we go. Ready or not. Again, these are only 1/2 inch screws. Get that one later. Put the screw in. And hopefully these work. Oh yeah, it goes in super easy. Now you do need to drill a pilot hole because the wood is very likely to crack if you don't do that. So always drill the pilot hole. Only takes a second. All right, there's number 1. Now I will put on the left front. I have to practice a little bit. And then I will drill the holes for this one. Now, these ones are different. They're mirror images, so you need to make sure that this extra circle is on the outside, so it's not on the inside there. And then 2 more screws. You need to add in one of these pieces. So put that one on there, and then this one will go on here, and then we need to put this one on here. this one on here, and this one on here, and then this one on here. Okay. Need to make sure that each of these pieces are exactly the same length. This is spinning right now, but it won't as soon as I screw it down. This one is 20 inches. And this one is just slightly over 20 inches. If these don't line up perfectly, you're going to end up with a wonky loom. We don't want wonky looms. All right, that is exactly 20. Okay, so with that established, I want to make sure that these are lying flat, and then we'll drill these ones in place. All right, I'm going to do this one, and then we will worry about these blocks. And double check. Triple check, quadruple check, doesn't matter, keep checking. 20 exactly. The next thing we need to do is make sure that these blocks line up with each other, or it won't go together. The video had them at 3 inches apart. Now I'm concerned that 3 inches will be too much because this is kind of a short loom. I'm thinking maybe 2 inches apart would be better. We will drill a hole through this one, right through the middle, and screw that down. Again, the reason why we've got the wooden pieces instead of plastic ones is because we had a print error on the 3D printer. So my husband said, rather than try to run the print again and it would take something like 8 hours, he'd go ahead and make them out of wood, and it took him a lot less time. Hopefully it's not too poorly made. Remember, I am not a trained woodworker. I'm just making it up as I go along. Okay, so there is piece number 1 done. Oh, but we do need to make sure that these pieces line up completely, because as I said, if they don't, you're going to end up with not going together perfectly. So I'm going to slide that one over there. You can use one of your dowels on the end to line things up. Make some little adjustments like that. That looks good. I'm going to go ahead and drill the hole while I've got it sitting here. Screw it together. This piece goes on this side, and this piece goes on that side. Oh well, we'll just turn that around because these holes need to be on the inside. So these ones are going to go in here. And then those ones are going to go in there. Okay, now we got to start assembling all these little pieces like the ratchets and these pieces that hold on to extra dowels that your work will wrap around. But let's start with this ratchet because it seems the easiest. You're going to need a dowel, a little piece of dowel that's long enough to go into this ratchet. Well, it doesn't go all the way through, it stops. And then it will go through the hole on this side, and then one of these pieces will fit onto that side. Now there will be 2 more dowels, longer dowels that come out through these 2 holes. We're not going to attach those quite yet. We're just going to start with this ratchet piece. And like the other ones, it's got holes, has 2 holes, one on each side, that you have to drill out and then put a screw in there. So I'm going to do that real quick. Alright, so that one's done. Now I have to do it one more time with the other one, which is, oh, here it is. So, I've got another long piece of dowel, and I'm going to put that one together. All right, so those two are done. So the next thing I'm going to do is put these together. So these are my my big fat cross dowels that your unfinished and finished work will wrap around. So you'll have a pair of these on either end. Need to tap that in there. And once again, I need to drill and screw. And I'm going to do the other side. Oh, didn't take the sticker off. Sticker. Now if you need to, you can always file down the wood so it fits a little bit better. I think I'm just going to give this a quick file around the edge. My husband suggested that sometimes the plastic, as you're 3D printing, will shrink a little bit from your original measurements. So then you have to take a shorter dowel, one of the 3Bs, and one of these little rings, and make a turning stopper doohickey for this other side so that this part can connect to here. I think I need to assemble this first. Okay, so I'm going to assemble this to here. I gotta double check to make sure they're the right distance apart. 2 3/4 and 10 3/4. Okay. There is a left and a right for these things with the teeth going the right way. So you need to make sure you get the right one on the right end or this won't work. So what we're trying to do here is get these pieces in between here, and they are going to spin. And we need to make sure that we put the right pieces into the right places so that these little pegs and pawls actually catch. So if you put them in the wrong space, it's not going to work. So just to test it, that's where it's supposed to go. Okay, so this is the right one. And flip that back and it'll spin. And you flip it forward and it stops. Like magic. This needs to go on here. So this will be drilled right there. And I got to put another piece here on this end. Oops, you know what I mean. And it'll have this shorter little stumpy piece. It doesn't have to be long enough to hold one of these because it doesn't need to. So this will go in this side and hook onto the middle hole of this little doomaflingy. But in order to do that, I have to screw this into that bit. Alright, so those two are screwed in on that side. I need screws added on this side and on these sides. This piece right here should be on the other end over here, because this parl should be on the inside and this parl over here should be on the inside. So it's backwards. It'll still work. It's just the take-up bars here will be wrapping the other direction. Instead of going forwards, they're going to go backwards. It'll still work, but it wasn't assembled as designed. So rather than take it all apart and reassemble it, I'm going to leave it as it is and just keep going. If I decide later that it's still really bugging me, these screws will come out. They're not glued in. So I'll just take it all apart and move those two pieces back so that this piece is in the back and the back piece is in the front, and then it'll all be correct. But for right now, I'm just going to continue as we're going, and it'll just be a quirk. So the next part we need to do is pinch that back, drill, and screw that in. Ready? Watch your fingies. Oh man, this isn't gonna quite work. I think what I'm gonna do is take this apart and do it this way. Wait a second, I'm gonna double check the assembly. So yeah, this does not stick out right here. It's flush, well, mostly flush because my cutting wasn't entirely straight, but we're going to drill the hole like that, like so, and then assemble it afterwards. Trust me, this will work, I hope. Okay, so once you drill the hole, then you have to reassemble. Make sure that's flush. Line that up with the hole that you drilled. Drop the screw in there. So this now will turn. All right. So once you get the parle flipped over into place, boop, it won't turn that way, but it will turn this way. See how that works? Pretty cool. Okay, now I'm going to do the other side. So you have this is actually two pieces. So you have the pointy bit and the peg bit. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Get my hand out of the way. So you got the peg bit and you got the pointy bit, and you put the peg bit and the pointy bit together and it just pops right into that hole. Okay, and then this piece goes into there. Take care of that. There. Now it should work. Yeah, there we go. So it spins, flip that over, and it should catch. Okay. This one has actually got a little bit of a sticky out bit there. I don't know if you can see that in the shadows very well, but it's got about 1/16 of an inch that it sticks out. That was me.